Hi, my name's Billy, I read books, and I've read Book 3 of The Wandering Inn by Pirate Arbor. This is just over 1,000 pages long on my Kindle, and I've given it 4 stars. I liked it, but not as much as the first book. Let me tell you why. So overall, I had a good time with this book. It starts off quite differently to the other two because you start with a completely new character. And this character is very, very interesting because this character is blind. Now, if you've got to this book in this series so far, you'll have seen how the characters who we've met along the way have struggled to adapt to this world that they find themselves in when they've got all their senses available to them. So how would someone who is blind adapt and get on? And that's the scenario we're presented with at the start of the book. And this character is finding his way in this world, trying to make friends and trying to survive. And it's really interesting. And you spend a lot of time with this character at the start of the book. So much so that I was thinking, well, all right, well, this book is going to be just about this character. We're going to, almost like a Malazan Book of the Fallen in a way, where you go to shift to a completely different part of the world or a completely different continent and start following totally different characters. I was thinking that's what we're getting here because that's how long we spend with that character. And I kind of got over the fact I was missing the characters from the first 2 books. But then those characters come back in and we shift focus. We go back to the characters and the storyline from the first couple of books. But then we're with them for the rest of the story. You don't go back to your blind character who, as his plot develops and his story develops, I imagine he's going to be a very, very influential player in how the story develops and how the world evolves. Maybe it's how these books are structured because they're taken from the website, I believe, at thewandringinn.com, maybe. And maybe that's just how it's all structured. And, you know, if this was done in a traditional publishing kind of way, maybe this would have been jigged about a bit or sectioned off a bit different. Who knows? But either way, I found that a little bit, not annoying, not frustrating, just a bit irksome as to why have I spent all this time with this character at the start and then I don't go back to them when I was actually wanting to spend time with the characters I was with from the first 2 books. It bugged me a little bit. But once you're back with your characters that you know from the previous books, the story develops, their characters go along as per normal. And as you can imagine, if you've read the first 2 books, the story and the world kind of just evolves and evolves and evolves more. More and more world building is done, more and more characters are developed, a few more characters are added in around the edges as well. And it's good. It's good. I'm really enjoying my time with The Wandering Inn. However, on my review for book 1, which I've done a review for on this channel, I loved how the story started in one way, carried along, and then kind of almost flipped and just at the end it turned into something I just wasn't expecting. But in that book, it all felt kind of natural the way the story was progressing. In this book, something similar happens well, not something similar, but a similar type of things happen in terms of the book just towards the end just goes off onto something. And the story just kind of goes from 2nd gear to 5th gear. In book 1, that felt natural. In this one, it just felt out of place. It's like, oh right, we're doing this now, are we? All right, the story's just decided to do this now. A comparison I can think of in that is, if you've read The Gentleman Bastards by Scott Lynch, book 2 almost seems to be, hey, we're going to be pirates now. It's like, all right, are you? Oh, great, where's this come from? And it's almost the same in this book. It's like, the way the story goes and the event that happens at the end, it's almost like, all right, okay, we've just decided this is what's going to happen. Okay, I'll go with it and I'll read it and it's interesting, but I'm kind of scratching my head as to why we've just gone, now, let's go. It's like the captain of Starship Enterprise going, warp speed, engage, and you just go, off you go. It's it was a bit odd. It was interesting and it was good. And I wouldn't have given it 4 stars if it didn't work. You've also got another character. I'm not going to say too much because you only meet this character much, much later in the book. And if you've met someone who's blind, when you've been following people who can see, and you've been following people who are living in this world. What if you meet someone who's maybe not living in this world? They're in this world, but maybe they're not. What happens then? Because there's another character that you meet that gets chucked into the mix, and it's really interesting, and it's really good, and I like how that was just developed, and how it tied in. I'm not going to say too much more because I don't want to spoil anything. This is spoiler free. But yeah, overall, I just felt the structure and the pacing of this was just a bit, I don't know, it didn't quite work for me. The story itself, I don't think just on its own, if for argument's sake, my issue in terms of how it was structured and how it was paced, if that was done how I would have liked. That sounds very big-headed, doesn't it? Like, sorry author, could you please rewrite this book to the way I want it? I don't mean it like that. I just mean along the lines of, if this was a book done in, it was steadier and the points of view were more interspersed together, maybe. Let's say it like that. I still think I'd have only given it about a 4-star, because I don't think it kind of reached, I didn't get the emotional beats from it that I did in the first book. It didn't quite hit that 5-star for me, and I am very harsh with my 5 stars. If you see a review from somebody else who's given this 5 stars, fair enough, trust them, I totally get it, because it's not a bad story. And I know I'm kind of going on a bit more about the stuff I didn't like, but that's just me trying to justify it a little bit more. Because I'm not saying this is a bad book in any way. You'll see people, other reviews on Booktube that give it 5 stars, and I totally get that. For me, this is a 4. Go and read it. Go and read the series. It's the biggest fantasy series going. Why would you not want to give it a go? Anyway, that's my thoughts. Have you read it? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I know there's lots of you out there who are massive Wandering In fans. Let me know in the comments below what you think about my views. And if you think I'm wrong, I'm perfectly happy with that. All right, take care. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.